Well, welcome to the NASCAR.com post-race show from Kentucky Speedway. I'm Chris Neville, a little hot and sweaty, a little covered in beer after Victory Lane. Larry McReynolds, looking nice and cool, still fresh.
It wasn't this way all night long, I can promise you.
It wasn't this way all night long. It was hot out there, and we had 4 contenders that really ran up front all night.
Yeah, we had a changing of the guard a lot during the night. It looked like Kyle Busch that won this inaugural race a year ago, led over 100 laps. It looked like it was going to be his race to win. And then his teammate, Denny Hamlin in 11, he flexed his muscle. And Jimmy Johnson in the 48, they just keep chipping away at it a little bit. He was up there, but at the end, it was Brad Keselowski getting his 3rd win of the year. But the driver, they better be glad, had some issues. About lap 52, Casey Kane in that 5 came to pit road under an unscheduled green flag pit stop, Chris. Thought he had a loose wheel. It was loose, and he fell all the way back to 35th, and he chips his way back. He gets the free pass and ends up finishing 2nd. I think one more caution, we may be talking about Casey Kane in his 2nd win of 2012.
Yeah, that was a great drive by Casey Kane. Saw a very fast Kyle Busch tonight, but he had problems. But let's take a look at some of the highlights. Early on, I think we all thought Tony Stewart was going to be a player here. This is his kind of racetrack.
Really, the most popular thing was the water truck before the green flag.
I think I should have taken a little dip in that early on, too. But Tony Stewart, this is his kind of a racetrack. Bumpy, it's fast, but he has problems.
And then Brad Keselowski, remember, a backup car, even though he got lots of practice, there were some steering wheel issues. He was the last driver to pull off pit road.
Yeah, and here we can see Tony's problems. What was that? That was a cam sensor.
Yeah, of course, we're at electronic fuel injection. Tony had started back in 22nd, was working way up to the front, but on lap 29, they pushed his car behind the wall, found out it was one of the cam sensors. They bypassed it. He goes on, finishes the races, but well back off the lead lap.
Then lap 43, Scott Riggs, engine problems.
Yeah, this was our very first caution. All the leaders hit pit road here, 4 fresh tires, and I'm sure lots of adjustments.
Kyle Busch, great run all night long, led over 100 laps, got a little bit aero tight coming off the corner into the wall, wrecked his night.
Yeah, and pretty much it went on to lead to a broken right rear shock.
And you can see there, Dave Blaney smoking that small Tommy Baldwin team.
But that's the caution that Casey Kane needed. That got him back on the lead lap. Ryan Newman in the 39 gets into Joey Logano the 20, and that knocks Logano down in the clip border. Remember, Newman and Logano, they have a little bit of history.
Yeah, big problems for Boyer there too. Wrecked his night, problems with right front suspension.
Now here's Ryan Newman. He brings out the caution at lap 210. This was our 4th caution. The engine let go in his 39 car. It appeared pretty much ended his night.
Then the team 18 tries to fix that right rear shock, came to pit lane 4 different times, finally got it fixed, dropped back to 19th. Kyle Busch charged hard there late.
Well, now his car is back to where it was in the beginning, Chris, and he ends up finishing 10th. But what about this battle for the lead? Wasn't a battle alone with Keselowski just driving by Denny Hamlin.
Another great drive. Saved enough fuel, made it to the finish, our first 3-time winner.
Yeah, led a total of 68 laps, even though he's 10th in the points. The key, you mentioned it, 3 wins now in 2012.
And look at that. Look at those Hendrick cars up there.
Yeah.
Sway bars.
Yeah, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I don't think the rule changes. It stayed out on that last caution. It paid off, another top 10.
Yeah, all the talk this week was those sway bars. The Hendrick cars were going to be slower. Not tonight.
Look at A.J. Allmendinger. That's his 2nd consecutive top 10 finish. Got one at Sonoma last week.
Yeah, the team really said he's got a lot more confidence after Sonoma. It showed tonight. Juan Pablo Montoya. He was nowhere all night. All of a sudden, I looked up with 50 to go, dropped up to 14.
Yeah, I think he's one of the drivers that even took a waiver round. We talked about Clint Boyer that had to make that unscheduled pit stop. Our winner from Sonoma comes back to finish 16th.
And Greg Biffle, big problems tonight. He's so high up in the championship. Not good when you finish 21st.
And there's Tony Stewart. We talked about his issues. Came in here 5th in the points. He's going to drop back to 9th, finish 32nd tonight after the trip to the garage area.
All right, and the team that we were listening to tonight, the 29 team, Shane Wilson, Kevin Harvick, that team, they've had some mistakes lately. Kevin said they needed to clean that up. They look pretty good.
Yeah, it was an up and down night. They ended up finishing 11th after a great qualifying run. So let's maybe go take a listen in to some of the things that went on during the race with that 29 team and Kevin Harvick.
Okay, I think we need to pull that left rear rubber out too here, guys.
Don't do that.
Okay, all right, we'll just stick with the track bar and the wedge here.
We're already in a big enough hole here. We don't need to self-inflict any more wounds than we already have.
Okay, 10-4. Okay, when we pit, we're going to come one out of the track bar and come a half a pound out of the left rear to help that drive. 5. Sweating yet.
As we can't dig a deeper hole, let's try to figure out what's going on down there. Kevin, after you get going there, you're within about 2/10 of what the leader was, but I know we're not as good as we need to be. We can't lose it like this. We're terrible.
Yeah, I don't think I've stopped sweating either. Now those guys, they've been making some mistakes. Kevin said it this week. Making some bad calls. They ran the car out of gas at Sonoma. What do they need to do to get back on track? They're one of those teams, they haven't won. They're in the top 10, and we've got 9 races till the chase starts.
Well, they're close. And, of course, we know in this sport of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing, all it takes is being just a little bit off, and it's the difference between running in the top 5 and running outside the top 20. But I think the point that Kevin Harvick and even Carl and Richard Childress was trying to make is if we make an adjustment, it has to be an effective adjustment, because if we make an adjustment and we give up all this track position like spring rubber changes, we're going to be way back in the pack and we're not going to be able to get there. They knew the importance of clean air and they just fought and clawed, and they're just a typical Kevin Harvick night right now. Just finished, no issues, no problems, but not where they need to be.
All right, so we've got 9 races to go before we get to the chase. What do you see in this top 10? Who needs to do what?
Well, let's take a look here. You look at Tony Stewart, as we mentioned, 3 consecutive top 3 finishes. Of course, he has those 2 wins, but not the finish he was looking for tonight. Fell all the way back to 9th. Clint Boyer, Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr., you know, he just had a decent night tonight. Finished back in the 8th position. He's got to get back to some top 5 finishes.
Dale's got that win. What does he need to do these last 9 before the chase starts?
Well, I think what Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Letarte will continue to do is look over their shoulder and see how many points they are ahead of 11th. If you see right there, 119 points. Chris, that's over 2 races. So once you know you've got some comfort level there, then you can start really rolling the dice and trying to chalk up some more wins.
All right, this next group, 11 through 20, this is where it's going to start getting pretty wild, these last 9. Carl, still looking for a win. What is wrong with that team? He says nothing's wrong. Something isn't right this year.
Yeah, they're missing a little something, and I know they talked about the call they made where they stayed out on that last caution. Then he had the pit with 4 laps to go. He went from running inside the top 5 to finishing 20th. You can't make moves like that. Maybe they were banking on another caution, but how about Casey Kane with the problems that Ryan Newman had? Now Casey Kane, by finishing 2nd to win at Charlotte, he, along with Kyle Busch, right now with 9 to go, they're the wild card drivers.
All right, now I know you were sitting in this air conditioning all night long, probably a little bored at times. You were on Twitter. You had some tweets. What's that? Keselowski from Victory Lane?
What a cool looking trophy. I'm sure of his 7 wins, he's going to enjoy that trophy right there.
All right, Larry, a couple days until we're down in Daytona. We go from an intermediate track back to plate racing. What are we going to see there?
Well, you throw everything away that we've learned on our 4 races on TNT. Nothing from Pocono, nothing from Michigan, nothing from Sonoma, and certainly nothing here from Kentucky, because you know you go there, it's a 400-mile race. If you think it was hot and humid here, you just wait till next week at Daytona. You know what it's going to be like there. But you know, as a driver, a crew chief, and the team, that you go there and you control about 10% of your destiny. And it's amazing. We're going to go for 160 laps at 400 miles, and more than likely the outcome of that race will be determined a move that a driver makes through 3 and 4 on that final lap.
What about the radiator cap? pressure
Well,
change
they
there.
have had a little pressure relief valve because of the ambient temperature. We know the rules that NASCAR continues to tweak and make at Daytona and Talladega. They listen to the fans. They've busted up this two-driver tandem, but they do know how hot it's going to be there, so they gave them a little more pressure on that pressure relief valve.
Well, I think it's going to be another great race. Might see Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in victory lane.
At Daytona?
At
Imagine
Daytona.
that.
Well, I'm Chris Neville. This is Larry Mack. Glad to have you here at Kentucky with you, and we will see you in just a few days in Daytona.
It'll be a short week this week.